Vikings, let's win the game.
Attention Vikings fan, get ready for a full episode with the latest breaking updates. To kick things off, a behind-the-scenes bombshell today brings revelations from negotiations between Dan Morgan and the Minnesota Vikings. And it doesn't stop there. On defense, an unexpected move could hand over the perfect successor to Harrison Smith on a silver platter without practically costing a thing. On offense, the arrival of an experienced player has already been called the perfect addition to give stability to the roster. And to wrap it up, a young talent nobody saw coming is carving out an inspiring path that even resembles a division rival's story. You won't want to miss a single detail. Welcome. Support your Vikings community with a like and a comment. When we talk about Adam Thielen, we can't treat it like just another transaction. We're talking about a guy who bleeds purple and gold, someone who wrote huge chapters of our recent history. And what shocked everyone was Panthers GM Dan Morgan admitting that Thielen was adamant he wanted to return to Minnesota. It wasn't rumor, it wasn't speculation. It was a direct request, full of emotion and conviction. And that completely changes the narrative of his return. Morgan explained that when he sat down with Thielen in his office, the veteran made it clear, "This is where I want to finish my career. This is my home. My family is there. I need to go back." How do you say no to that? A player of this caliber with that emotional connection, asking to go back to where it all started. The Panthers couldn't just ignore it. Of course, the NFL isn't run on feelings alone. Business always comes into play. That's when the cold side of negotiation shows up. Vikings GM Kwesi Adolfo-Mensah's first offer to Carolina was considered too low. They came in offering a 6th-round pick while also receiving a 7th-rounder with Thielen. The Panthers weren't having it. According to Morgan, they went through more than 10 different trade scenarios before finding common ground. The result? Minnesota agreed to send a 5th-round pick in 2026 and a 4th-round pick in 2027, receiving Thielen, a 2027 5th-rounder, and a conditional 2026 7th-round pick. On paper, it may look like the Vikings paid a little too much. But let's be honest. How do you measure the value of bringing a franchise icon home, someone who knows the system, has instant chemistry with the roster, and can mentor the younger wide receivers? The fan base blew up on social media, divided between those who see it as a fair price to strengthen the offense and those who think the team should have been more aggressive elsewhere. But the impact goes way beyond the field. Thielen isn't just a tactical piece, he's a symbol of loyalty, perseverance, and deep identification with the franchise. And the will to come back was so strong that Adam Thielen agreed to a revised contract, according to Tom Pelissero of NFL Network. It involved a pay cut that helps Minnesota's salary cap situation, reducing Thielen's salary in 2025 by $2 million. It also removed $4 million in incentives. This wasn't about money. Thielen wanted to go home and offered to help lower the team's cap hit to make it happen, wrote Pelissero. After the trade with the Panthers, Thielen was expected to carry a cap hit of about $7 million. But this restructuring gives the Vikings extra cap space they can either use for another addition this season or roll over into 2026. Seeing him once again in purple and gold brings a different kind of energy to US Bank Stadium. And let's be real, if his desire to return was this strong, how can you not believe he's going to play every snap like it's his last? Get ready because the next story will shock you even more. Just imagine, fan. We've been talking for a while now about the day Harrison Smith will hang up his cleats, and it always felt far off. But with each season, that shadow gets closer, and suddenly an opportunity shows up that could change everything, almost like it fell right into the Vikings' lap. The name? Jabril Peppers. Yes, the same guy who was a first-round pick. Flashed in Cleveland, made a name for himself in New England, and surprisingly got cut by the Patriots. A lot of people scratched their heads when the release went down. After all, Peppers was playing at a high level, ranked by Pro Football Focus as one of the top safeties in the league. Why let him go? Cap issues, youth movement, whatever. The point is, a 30-year-old talent, still athletic with sharp instincts, is available. And here's the kicker. He could cost the Vikings practically nothing. Remember when Daniel Jones landed in our lap on a minimum contract because the Giants were still footing the bill? It's the same logic here. Peppers was set to earn $4.5 million. But offset language opens the door for him to sign elsewhere on a veteran minimum deal without losing money. For Minnesota, it's zero risk. You bring in a seasoned guy used to complex systems and hand him to Brian Flores, who loves dialing up packages with 3 aggressive safeties. And let's be honest, in a defense that already has Josh Metellus on the rise and Theo Jackson waiting in the wings, adding Peppers is just another ace in the hole. He can become Smith's natural successor when the time comes. But he could also make an impact right now in 2025. Especially against offenses that thrive on quick passes and outside runs. It's exactly the kind of piece that fits perfectly. The fans are split. Some think adding a 30-year-old is too short-sighted. Others see it as a genius move. Minimal cost, instant impact, and long-term insurance if things go well. And truthfully, safety is a position where you can play well into your 30s as long as the instincts and athleticism are there. So the big question is, will Kwesi Adofo-Mensah pull the trigger? Because if he does, life after Harrison Smith might feel a lot less scary than we imagined. But hold on, because what's coming next hits even harder for Vikings Nation. Carson Wentz in Minnesota. If someone had said that 2 years ago, plenty of fans would have laughed or maybe even panicked. But look how the NFL works. The former Philadelphia Eagles quarterback, who's seen highs and lows, is now rocking purple and gold. And according to analysts like Brent Sobleski of Bleacher Report, he's the perfect addition to our quarterback room. But is that really true? Let's break it down. First, think about the context. J.J. McCarthy is the prized first-round pick from 2024. Max Brosmer, an undrafted underdog, fought his way onto the final 53-man roster. Two promising talents, but neither with a single NFL start. What does that mean? That the QB room was missing experience. That's where Wentz steps in. With 94 career starts, time spent in complex offensive systems, and even a recent stint with Patrick Mahomes, he brings something nobody else in the room has. Of course, nobody expects Wentz to be the star of this team. He arrives on a veteran minimum deal, basically a luxury insurance policy. But think about the value. Having a veteran who knows the grind, who's been criticized to the extreme, and who still insists on proving he belongs. That's priceless for young QBs just finding their way. He can be the voice guiding McCarthy in high-pressure moments and showing Brosmer how to carry himself in practice and in the locker room. Yes, there are limitations. His accuracy isn't what it once was, full-field reads aren't always sharp, and injuries have left their mark. But in a system that leans on bootlegs, movement plays, and even some QB runs, Wentz still has juice. Kevin O'Connell knows this style well, and it's no coincidence he signed off on the move. The fans had mixed reactions. Some celebrated finally having an adult in the room, while others couldn't forget the disappointments of the past. But deep down, the message is clear. The Vikings don't want to gamble recklessly on McCarthy. If something goes wrong, there's a backup plan. And if everything goes right, Wentz quietly does his job, helping the kids grow. And while we're still wrapping our heads around Wentz in purple, another story emerges that could shape who stands beside McCarthy for years to come. Max Brosmer. That name has suddenly become a hot topic in Minnesota, and for good reason. The kid arrived undrafted, no hype, and already secured a spot on the 53-man roster. But does the story end here? Or are we watching the start of a Cinderella arc that even rivals respect? The comparison that everyone makes is with Tyson Bagent, the Bears quarterback who came out of a small college, went undrafted, and today has a $10 million contract as Chicago's primary backup. The paths are almost identical. Bagent started as QB4 in Chicago, even behind players with guaranteed deals. A few months later, he was the direct backup to Caleb Williams, the #1 overall pick in the 2024 draft. Brosmer also entered Minnesota as QB4, buried behind names like Sam Howell and Brett Rypien, but showed so much potential that the franchise reshaped its plans. Howell was traded, Rypien left, and guess who stayed? The kid nobody bet on. The funny twist? Brosmer is actually older than J.J. McCarthy, but he doesn't see it as a setback. He uses that maturity to speed up his development. In practice, he's already shown quick reads and confidence, plus traits that echo McCarthy himself: mobility, smart decision-making, and poise under pressure. No wonder the coaching staff is already talking about him as a potential long-term partner in the QB room. And if anyone doubts his upside, just look at Bagent's example. The guy went from a modest deal to being the first Bears quarterback to sign an extension since Jay Cutler back in 2014. If it happened in Chicago, why not in Minnesota? Brosmer knows he has to keep grinding, and his first chance to shine on the big stage comes in Week 1 against the Bears at Soldier Field. The poetic detail? He makes his official debut at Tyson Bagent's home turf. The fan base is excited but cautious. Many see Brosmer as a hidden gem, while others want to wait before making big declarations. But one thing is clear. If this kid follows Bagent's footsteps, the Vikings may have uncovered a treasure without spending a single draft pick. And after all these electrifying stories, Thielen reigniting the team's identity, Peppers as the bridge to the defense's future, Wentz bringing the experience the QB room needed, and Brosmer proving that the underdog flame still burns bright in Minnesota, none of it makes sense without the energy of the fans. Now it's your turn to support, to question, to debate, because this journey is only getting started. Which story grabbed your attention the most? And what other moves do you think the team still needs to make? Drop a comment, share this video, and hit that subscribe button for all the latest Vikings updates. Stay tuned. SKOL Vikings. Let's go.